Hello, this is Brian K. Vagnini. I'm an independent filmmaker currently based in Tallahassee, Florida at the moment, and I have a short story that I have turned into a script that I think I'm going to be making very shortly, and it's rather interesting. But you lucky viewers that don't exist yet, actually get a chance to preview what the story is first. So I'm going to read you the short story. There will be a slight change that I will tell you about after the fact. So here goes nothing. MrDrooley. Mr. Vincent, a stocky man wearing a $2,500 Armani suit, nodded to his companion. Tommy, who was tall and lanky, acknowledged Mr. Vincent's nod, then walked around the table, sidestepping a large bag on the floor, and faced the third man in a chair. Tommy had a captive audience. "Did I ever tell you about MrDrooley?" Tommy waited for a response. The man in the chair just glared at him. "I didn't? Okay, well, we had this cat growing up. Named him MrDrooley. That was 'cause he would occasionally just sit there drooling. Then he would twitch and stop drooling, then take off running around the house. That cat was a twitchy little fucker. He twitched a lot, just randomly. You'd be sitting there petting him purring, wrapping himself around your legs, like cats do, then suddenly, BAM! Twitch. Sometimes the twitching lasted a second or two, sometimes longer. Cat wasn't all there in the head, you know." Tommy glanced over at Mr. Vincent, who looked at him disapprovingly. "Seriously, he wasn't. One day, when I was about 10 years old, my father and I were walking down by the docks. I see a large group of cats, and they were fighting over something. I was curious, and went over to see what was going on. When I got there, I saw this cat with his teeth sunk into the skull of another cat. He was eating the other cat. I cried out to my father to help, and when he got there, he chased off the other cats. Dad said that MrDrooley had been hit in the head with a ball-peen hammer by a couple of teenagers and left to die. My dad took that hammer home with him, in fact. It was a perfectly good hammer." Tommy took a drag from his cigarette, then put it back in the ashtray on the table. "I begged my father to save the cat, and my father resisted at first. Said the cat was probably going to die, and he pointed at the chunks of brain missing that the other cats had torn out as they were eating them." Mr. Vincent made a disgusted noise, and Tommy looked back at his boss. "It's true. You think cats are so pretty and soft and cuddly, but the truth is, when all those crazy cat ladies die in their homes, it'll be days or weeks before they're found, and their cats will have started eating them. I've seen crime scene photos of it from my friend on the force. Pretty vicious creatures." Tommy paused to take another drag from his cigarette. He let the ash fall to the concrete floor of the empty warehouse. "So, despite my father's misgivings, I had a cat. Like I said, he twitched a lot, drooled a lot too from sitting there with his mouth open, not moving, like someone had hit pause on the VCR and forgotten to turn the movie back on. Kind of funny, actually." Tommy paused, his smile fading. "What happened to the cat?" Mr. Vincent asked. Tommy answered, "He got run over by a truck. He twitched one day crossing the street. Poor bastard never stood a chance." "Great story, but what does this have to do with me?" the man in the chair asked. Tommy put his cigarette back in the ashtray and took out an 8-pound ball-peen hammer from the bag on the floor. He felt the weight of it in his hands, passing it back and forth. "Because if you don't tell Mr. Vincent what he wants to know, then you're going to be MrDrooley. Last chance. I know an alley with a lot of cats." The man in the chair continued to glare at the two thugs. Mr. Vincent looked at his watch, muttering, "I gotta go. Charity event at the animal shelter with the wife." Picked up his briefcase from the table and headed for the door. As the door closed behind him, separating the street noise from the warehouse, he heard the crack as the hammer fell. That's MrDrooley. And I'm turning that into a script because I think it's going to be pretty easy to shoot. A couple of changes that I'm making, though. I don't want to give anybody the idea that smoking is a good thing. So instead of him smoking, he will have quit smoking and be eating like sunflower seeds or something. And the character's name is not going to be Tommy. It's going to be Jimmy. And the reason it's going to be Jimmy is because I have a really great story that sadly is not mine, but I'm going to expand it out and turn it into a story called Jimmy Got Capped. And it's based on a rap song that I worked on, I played bass on and recorded back in the early 90s in Sierra Vista, Arizona. So really, really cool song. I'm going to re-record the song too. But like I said, it's an exceptionally good story. So if I make the character's name Jimmy, then this works out really well. So anyway, that's story time with Brian. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you like it, put something in the comments, let me know, and we'll go from there. I'll do some others as we go along. MrDrooley is going to be part of a larger film because I can chain 5 different stories together, especially if I change the character name from Tommy to Jimmy. Then I can chain 5 stories together. Now, not all of them are done. MrDrooley is the one that is the short story that is completely finished. Jimmy Got Capped. As a rap song, I know what the full story is, but turning it into a script is going to be some work. So that's next on the plans. And speaking of films, I just recently finished my first film, Escape: A New Life Awaits. I will be releasing it shortly, so the world can see it. I hope you enjoy it. I put a bit of time into it, especially on the sound design. Then the second film is MrDrooley. It's in the writing stages and soon to be pre-production. Have the script right here, actually. So I know you can't read it, but there it is. This could be random pieces of paper. This could be a summons from the IRS. You would have no way of knowing. But trust me, it says MrDrooley. So, script is done for that. And then the third one, the third film, is Working for the Muse. And I am currently writing that one. It's a very, very good beginning of that story. So that'll be the next video. Unfortunately, I don't know where I was going with the story when I was writing it. So, and I took a turn, and now I don't know where that turn was going. So, you know, what are you going to do? I'll figure it out. So I'm kind of mulling it over upstairs, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, thanks for sharing story time with Brian, and look forward to MrDrooley coming soon to a screen near you. So, y'all have a good day.